Welcome to Gem Collectors with Shawn, and I am Shawn. And of course, I want to start by apologizing for missing the show. When I left here last, it was on a Thursday, and so for those of you that don't know, since I have seen you last, or actually recorded a show last, my father passed away. And Asif was comforting. He said, you know, he was going to start off with one topic. He said, no, we better not go there. You know, I don't know if Shawn will make it through it. So we'll see how far I get through this. I was actually going to give just a mini eulogy about my incredible father. And I said, no, I'm not going to be able to get through that. So I am going to show you a picture, though, when we start showing the mineral specimens. And I think that a picture can often tell a lot of stories. And so also you'll see a picture of my son and myself. So covering 3 generations, and for that I am very grateful. My father was 91 years old, but it's not one of those 91 years old where the person would say, well, you know, he lived a full life, or he's better off, or, you know, he won't be in so much pain. No, none of that applied to my father. My pops, as I lovingly called him. Father's Day, we had a family reunion and get together. There was distant people I have not seen. And remember, I'm one of 6. I lost my younger sister a year ago. Over a year ago, so down to 5 of us siblings, but with, you know, of course, lots of children and grandchildren. And then the amazing thing is my father had an incredible 41 years of marriage to my mother, and she passed away 30 years ago. 30 years ago. And it's something, my mom was a very spiritual person, and she actually said to my dad, and this person was their banker, her name was Karen, and she said, you know, Jack, I wouldn't mind if after I died, she knew she was dying, she had been fighting cancer for a number of years. She goes, if after I died, if you wanted to go out with Karen. And my dad, who only went into the bank with my mom a few times, not very often, he didn't even know Karen except just in a quick passing. And Karen was 25 plus years younger than my dad. And so we're talking at a time when that age difference was, my dad was around 62, and so putting her at around, just a little under 40. She had a 15-year-old daughter. And so my dad said, what would she have to do with me being so much older? My dad and I went to New Zealand. You hear me talk about the trip to New Zealand. And it was a trip that he and I got to make that was planned for my mom and my dad, but my mom was too ill at the time. And my brothers, who had paid for the entire trip already, there was no one else single in the family to go except me. So I was able to fill in a lifelong dream that my dad had always had wanted, as well as my mom, to go to New Zealand. And so I stepped in to fill the spot. And this was after my mom's passing, to drive the camper. To drive a camper that was rented 1,600 kilometers on the other side of the road. Now, see, you don't say the wrong side of the road, because to them, of course, we drive on the wrong side of the road. So, yeah, imagine me trying to get out of Auckland, for one thing, driving a big camper and manipulating something that only lately have they put in the South. Do we know what a roundabout is, or a rotary? But they love them. They love them over in Australia and in New Zealand. So I got in this one rotary, and until I figured it out, I was going around and around, and then, being that on the other side of the road. So, New Zealand's 2 islands. I crossed over to the South Island, made my way all the way down, and no problem. I had only one incident. It was coming out of Queenstown, New Zealand. And I am coming down this kind of mountainous road in a big camper, but I had gone up the road and realized it wasn't a road meant for a camper. So I turned around and I'm headed back down into town. And all of a sudden, I am headed straight towards another vehicle. And I said to my dad, I said, there's a car coming towards us. One of us is on the wrong side of the road. It has to be me. And I just whipped the car over because they know what they're doing. Many tourists, one of the ways they die and pass away. And I had family friends that actually were killed in England driving on, getting on the incorrect and not remembering to drive on the other side of the road, and they had a head-on collision with a bus. So it does happen, it can happen. So yeah, I knew that if there was one of the two of us that was going to be on the on the incorrect side of the road for the country that you're in, that it was going to be me. And so I made the adjustment quickly. So it all worked out. My dad didn't have to worry about driving. We get to Hokitika. And this is where it ties back in. My mom having picked out her replacement because she knew that my dad was a young, virile 60-year-old when my mom had passed, and that she knew that he would not be able to stay alone, that he would remarry. So she just, I guess, got involved and used what we, as teenage boys, we used to call her witchy powers, but her spirituality to pick her replacement that she thought would be best. And so we're in Hokitika. My mom had only been, passed away for a few months. And like my dad said, he goes, many of you are grieving now. But he goes, I have grieved from the moment she was diagnosed with cancer, and the battle lasted 3 years. So he was right. His grieving was done. So with all of the family members knowing the story of how my mom picked her successor and anointed this particular person as being the one that it would be okay if my dad and her got together, that none of us could be upset if the time frame between a 40-year marriage and a remarriage was, ready? 1 year. Yep. From the time my mom passed away, 41-year loving marriage, he was remarried to her within a year. We were in Hokitika at it's a jade center, so there's nothing but a bunch of jade shops. And he's trying to decide if a strand of nephrite jade beads was going to say too much. Was it going to, be taken the wrong way? And of course, my dad, he was like a giddy little school child. And I, of course, never having seen that part of my dad and my mom were high school sweethearts. And they married, and 1 month later, my dad was shipped off to the Aleutian Islands. He was a Russian translator, a Russian interpreter, and in the Korean War. So they dropped him off at the end of the Aleutian Island chain in 30 miles off Kamchatka to eavesdrop during the Cold War and during the Korean War on the Soviets. And that's how he learned Russian at the same military school that my son, 60 years later, learned Japanese. And so my son, of course, has repeated that and skipped my generation, but my son, of course, is loves the military and the institution, and I'm thankful for that and thankful for my dad's roles. And it has put my son very close to my dad because they're the only two out of a big family that have that military connection together. So with the strand of beads, we come back from New Zealand, and boy, that was pretty much the beginning of what was another 30 wonderful years. And he would have never lived to the age he did if it wasn't for this wonderful other lady that came into my life. My dad only knew 2 women, and he could, to get a choice of 2 women, he could have never, ever picked 2 finer people for the stages in his life that he needed them for. My mom, incredible mother, and of 6 children, and then later on another very large family from LJ, and and she was 25 years younger than my dad and kept my dad young all the way to the end. And my dad lived until the end. He fell out of bed, and I'm going to try to get through this, and Karen couldn't pick him up. Luckily, her granddaughter was staying at the family home. It's a beautiful view in the mountains. And she said, I'm going to have to get you, Jack, a hospital bed. And he never was one to want to be taken care of. He never was one that he wanted to go through the embarrassing and degrading parts of getting old and, reverting back to diapers, etc. And he said to them, my son raced from Washington, D.C., got on a plane, he and his wife, a walk-up fare, rented the car, and made it to LJ. And he wasn't conscious, but my son stayed up with him all night long, holding his hand. And but before he slipped out of consciousness, he said, to Karen, he said, Karen, if I have to sleep in this hospital bed, it will kill me. He never slept through, made it through the entire night. Nope, that was it. When after the get-together and the reunion of all of us, the man was ready. 91 years, and we think he held out for that. And by golly, he was not going to go out as he came into this world as a needy little baby. He lived his life until the day he lived it no more. With that said, I thank you for your kind comments, and let's get the show started. Okay, so we have comments. We're going to go through these quick so we can get to some incredible things. Let's start off with Harry. Well, hey, Shawn, I was surprised to get the turquoise parcel so quick. I know, the free ones we don't give usually the same kind of, they take a different path. So if you get a free item and you haven't gotten it in a week or 2 weeks, that's average or normal, sometimes even 3 weeks. Don't worry about it past 3 weeks. Make sure you let me know so that you do get it. But to get it right away, that just shows that they are on their toes. I also got the parcel of kunzite pieces and a few really good cutters there, thank you. And I'm really liking the zoisite with ruby. Great material. Have you ever used Everbright coating? It's for anti-tarnish, very tough fade resistant coating for seeing, kind of getting a rhodium plate, but a spray. I got it for silver, but I tried it on a large flat tiger eye specimen. Very uniform look. Anyway, thanks again. Hi, Raven. No, I have not tried that. I'm not against using some different things on mineral specimens that, as long as it doesn't fill or transform them into any kind of treated way in any form. But I'd be interested to see what the before and after on something like that looks like. Miss Peggy says, Dear Raven, Shawn, Asif, and the whole family, the Gem Crew, and the favorite Rockhounds, I loved your show this week. You seem healthy, energetic, and full of passion. I also love to hear more from Asif. I now want to see his face. We need to do a backstage show. I was talking to Asif before the show regarding the comments some of you have made about finding out more about Asif, and I enjoyed finding out more about him. And he is truly, if anyone is to fit the image of that tall, dark, handsome, well, to many, a stranger. Mysterious is the way I would put it. He fits those roles. And yeah, Asif is one of those guys, just good looking, with those Mediterranean good looks, something I never had, And then what do? I have to get into liking rocks. Oh yeah, I was a real big hit in school. Born in Pakistan, Asif was, so he actually has roots from that part of the world, which is pretty neat. And then also, he has been a big contributor to his congregation the Muslim faith, and I had been talking to him, and just so I get the word, amuki is what they call it. It would be equivalent to a deacon in the Christian faith. So it's not a pastor per se, but it is someone that works with the congregation, the people, their needs, blessings, and is almost a daily event for him that he also does every day after working here an incredible number of hours. So he has a deep side to him that not many people know. 3 incredibly gorgeous children and a beautiful wife that he loves dearly. And if you're not familiar, a lot of those regions of the world, talk about family. They take care of their own. And he has a set of parents living in the household as well. Never complains, loving it, and, has a house on the lake. He had some buzzards visiting the backyard, which we had never known that, as much as I lived in the woods, to ever happen, but sure enough, every day, which was quite an experience for he and his girls, I think, to be able to see that. So, but he was just telling me he'd screened it in, and each step you make in life to where you can just make your own life a little bit more peaceful and relaxing and enjoyable, then it doesn't offer you much more than that. Wake up every day. Little did I know when I did my last show on that Thursday that by less than 36 hours that my beloved father would no longer walk this earth in a physical form. And so, yeah, love, and hug and hold all of those near and dear to you. So that's a little bit about, but you're right, you know what? You would like a picture of Asif. Don't know if he's on the website. Might have to hunt him down somewhere. He appears usually in the back of a crowd. I truly believe that your pieces give off positive vibes. I know that they are presented with love. My collection room, which houses many of your pieces I have harvested over the years, is a place of reflection and relaxation. Anytime I am stressed, you can find me near my rocks. I totally agree with that. By the way, I'm also a Georgia native, born at Norcross Hospital and lived in Doraville, both very close by, a street down from where the guys from Atlanta Rhythm Section lived. I hung out at Stone Mountain on the weekends. I collected pieces of granite and arrowheads from the streams and shorelines. Absolutely. Stone Mountain, little do people know what they're really looking at. There are a couple of incredible outcroppings. Now, I don't think you can go digging on the mountain or anything like that, but if you maybe saw something loose or something, you might be able to pick it up. But there are a couple of outcroppings that actually have quite desirable tourmaline crystals and other epidote, some garnets, all kinds of great stuff. So it's a really fascinating mountain to walk as a rock count, indeed. Trivia: calcite fluoresces orange. Axonite comes in 3 families: ferroaxonite, magnesioaxonite, and manganaxonite. It might help if I read the trivia questions, right? Question 1 is, what is the most common color calcite fluoresces? Well, the answer would be orange. It does fluoresce in other colors depending on exact wavelength you use of light and the impurities within calcite. Like if you have manganese calcite, that will fluoresce a different color altogether. But the most common one you see overall, orange. Name the 3 metallic elements that axonite forms with, because axonite is like the overall group. Okay, like the quartz family. And then on the quartz family, you have amethyst, smoky quartz, all the others. Something like that. Except in the axonite family, the substitutions become a greater percent. When you have ferroaxonite, that means an iron axonite, which is the most common one that produces the beautiful purplish color tones. Some of the others, not so much. So you have magnesio, which is magnesium axonite, and the manganese axonite, which is the manganese axonite. And the third question was, what was axonite given its name? Or why was axonite given its name? And it was from a Greek word meaning the blade of an X blade. And of course, when you see the crystals, which I have offered crystal specimens, they are so sharp-edged and were beautiful too. Whoever got lucky enough to get that specimen, that one, I know the one I was offering had incredible facet grade, literally so sharp, knife, axe-edged crystals to it. Really, really cool. So, that was the 3 questions. Peggy getting them 2 of them. Then the third, axonite gets its name from a Greek word axine because of the sharp axe-like shapes of the raw material. Not raw material, of the crystalline form, but close enough. Please give Raven my positive thoughts. I hope she comes back soon. Well, find your joy, Peggy says. You know, that rascal, she actually is here. She is back. She did already come back, but then, of course, when that came up with my dad, that I was thankful that she could take some days off to support me, and she's back today. She helped set up the backdrop. If it looks better, that is why. And so she's buzzing around. You never know when she might drop in. Then also, Harry sent me a picture of his very first ever cabochon in turquoise that he cut. Of course, he got it from that material that he got from me, I believe. So that was really good timing and well done. I saw the picture of the cab, and nice job there, Harry. Miss Cindy, hello, Rock family. Another good one today, Shawn. I hope you and the Raven get out for some fresh air and a little exercise this week. Well, if a pallbearer is called any kind of exercise. You know, my dad was a great comedian, and he never would have wanted it to be as sad as it all was, because we loved him dearly. So it was a huge loss. But yeah, he would have gone out cracking jokes and had a great sense of humor. And I'll just probably go on and on about my dad off and on all kinds of different times until I get used to this thought. And so many times I've already thought, oh, I'm going to call my dad. Oh, I'm going to call my dad. Not unless it's from the Twilight Zone episode where the little boy has that connection to his grandmother. Great episode. All right, so Miss Cindy goes on to say, just a little out of the house time. Trivia, orange red, magnesium, ferro, and manganese, axe head shape on the crystals. Getting all right. Everyone take care and be good to yourself. Cindy at South Central Pennsylvania. Favorite specimen this show, which I like. I like to hear favorite specimen. And fibrous malachite, that green, wow, yes. And wait, you have got to see, we were going through some specimens, and yeah, the Raven, I found another one she put up, and I would normally call it fibrous malachite, except the fibers were so big and thick, it looked like a bunch of little fine, high-grade quality emerald crystals. Wait till, I'm going to bring it in, because we're working on, she's trying to swap the one she has out for another one. Anyway, it's a multi-pronged deal that she's trying to work with me here. And if I don't watch it, she'll skin me clean on those specimens. Yeah, gotta watch her. She'll come out on the better end every time. Harry goes on to say, I am putting the cart before the horse. I'm going to answer trivia first because I have many brain lapses, and I'm substituting the word lapses for another word he used. Being an old fuddy-duddy. Question 1 is, I see, I forgot question 1. Well, it's so nice to spend my whole evening with you guys of Gem Shopping Network and really noticing this guy knows his stuff. Who? Me? And I am grateful to learn some of the treasure trove from you, Professor. And I bet the Raven will be back really soon. You got that bet correct. Okay, so the most common color in calcite is orangey pinkish, leaning more towards orange. Question 2 and 3, metals in axonite, magnesium, manganese, and ferro. Question 1 on 3, axonite is named for the crystal structure and shape. Habit, the axe. Give him the axe or give him the axonite. There we go. Good night. Falling, falling, falling asleep. God bless you all. Harry. And I read those like you all write them, by the way, if you can't tell that. Mr. Brad in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania goes, greetings to Shawn, Raven, Ossoff, Gem Shopping staff, and the whole Rock family. I'm enjoying the iridescent turgite. Oh, I'll bet you are, and just keep on looking at that. That thing is a beauty. And thanks for the goodies you bring out each week. Yes, I am very interested in the axonites. So the various metals are magnesium, iron, and manganese, and axonites got the name from the crystal shaped like an axe blade. I grabbed the 2 fluorescent calcite and pyrite specimens with the orange fluorescence, which is a common color for them. Wait till you see that orange fluorescence. It is really beautiful. As I leave work each day, I find myself looking at the landscaping stones they have along the sidewalks. Smart thing to do. They are nice palm-sized stones and are a wide variety, so surely something valuable has to be somewhere amongst them. I may take a hammer in to crack open a few to see what's inside them. I don't think our guards will let me do that. Oh well. May your dreams be pleasant and your health continue to improve. Thank you. I appreciate that. And you know, they have gotten so good with these landscaping stones that I actually stopped by this one place. They actually sell firewood also. So it put me there, and I wound up on a weekend. And you know what? This is still what's amazing in the South. Now I say the South, but I'm talking about the rural counties in the South. On weekends, if you need firewood, and I'm talking about they have it up, you can get a quarter cord, a half cord, a whole cord. It's sitting out on pallets, and the amount. And all there is a metal box there, and it says, deposit your check here, or cash. And it's just not even a strong box, a little metal box. And if you need firewood on a cold weekend and they're not there, you just literally can write them a check and put it in the box. They have no idea whether your check will be good, if it's anything, but it's a trust factor. And I bet they have a lower rate of incidents than a place that takes a check on a regular basis. And so anyway, I was there on one of these weekends loading it, but I happened to notice someone was in the back part. Because the thing they did mostly was they made landscaping stones or stones for the side of a house. And I say that because I was able to watch how they did it. They let me in because I showed enough knowledge and interest that it was fun for them to show me how they did it. And they literally whip up a concoction of breccia, of rocks, and dye the background colors to whatever the order is from the builder, and then they pour them into these molds, and it looks really good. I was amazed at how natural looking some of these homemade poured rocks really were. And they told me how many they crank out and how much they got for them, and it's like, well, it must be worth it to them. And I thought that it was quite a clever thing that they were doing. And no, I didn't see any big quartz crystals sticking out. Nope, that's one thing you're not going to get in something that's man-made. You're not going to by chance going to get a quartz crystal in one, no. But the natural stones, there's always the chance that there'll be a little pocket with a little tiny, druzy or something, chalcedony or agate, or you never know, garnet. In other things. So, Harry says, hey, Shawn, do you know any good reference you can send me so I can learn how to do this kunzite correctly? Because there's a bunch of idiots out here on YouTube. Nobody knows what they're doing. I can't seem to get anybody to tell me correct directions or anything. I got one guy faceting in the on the table on the darn cleavage plane. I want to wonder if a stone has no color, right? Anyway, I know you're a busy guy, and if you have a reference, you can shoot me email to give me a direction to a website or something. I appreciate it. I've tried everything. Thanks, Harry. Well, okay, so that's how you actually learn, because these people really don't know what they're talking about. So since kunzite spodumene has such a strong cleavage plane, in other words, it will break along the cleavage plane very easily, cut it like you would a topaz, and I've referenced that before. Now, the other thing is it usually has the better color along the C-axis, the long axis of the crystal. If you can orient it so that that's the color angle, remember, that on any of the cleavage planes, you never want to cut or polish directly on that same angle. You should, if it's the cleavage plane, in other words, a part that splits through, like let's say a calcium monoclinic crystal form or any of that, you want to cut it 7 to 15 degrees off of what is parallel to your lap and parallel to the cleavage plane. And you want to make sure if it has perfect threefold symmetry in each direction, that like rhodochrosite would, that kind of thing, that you kind of strike a balance between all three of those, because rhodochrosite will split right on the dot, right on the lap, because one did it to me right before I was going to bring it in and show it to all of you. And I redopped it and am recutting it again, but this has been some weeks ago, some months ago, maybe even a couple of years ago, because when they do that to me, I get mad at them, then I don't work on them. So, but really, it's trial and error. There's enough of those spodumines in there that you should do fine in cutting and trying to figure it out on your own. But the most important thing is you cannot polish on the same angle as the cleavage plane. You have to shift that usually 7 to 15 degrees off of that to be able to polish it correctly. Good luck with that. Let me know how you do. And then he also sends me a picture of a turquoise that he cut with a little natural formation of a letter in it. Mr. Anthony says, hello all. That light show from the axonite facets on the pavilion, outstanding. I've never seen that kind of color. Ah, yes, Miss Elisa would like to hear that. As amazing as the cutting and color are from the table and the crown, my opinion, if that stone were to be set in jewelry, the aculet and pavilion facing up, I'm just saying, wow. Yes, because of the strong plechoism in the multiple different directions, there is lots of choices that can be done with that pear shape. Showing the purple, the oranges, the reds, that's a great song. Shawn, you were sounding a bit raspy. I was wondering if anyone noticed. I hope it was just from talking. Not that anyone would accuse you of talking too much. Hope everything is still on the upswing, and that goes for the Raven as well. Yeah, we just had a little setback, but yeah, I'm never going to be one of those that are going to say, wow, things just can't get any worse, because they can, and they do. Trivia, all right, you got orange, seems to be the color that calcite fluoresces, manganese, magnesium, and Anthony, you came so close. You had boron/aluminum. We were looking for iron, but you did pretty good anyway. Axonite crystals are knife or axe head-like. Eyes down. Well done, though, there, Mr. Anthony. Miss Elisa says, hello, Professor Shawn, Rockhounds, and GSN crew. I'm hoping that the lovely Raven is doing better. We miss you, Raven, and she'll hear all your words, and I'll pass on the information if she doesn't. I am going to keep this as brief as possible out of respect for the show so that we might see as many specimens as possible. I got the axonite. Axonite is the reason I really started to get into rocks and minerals. Now, that's one I wouldn't have guessed, but I love to hear it. How unusual is that? The last time I met with a very dear friend of mine, and shortly after she tragically passed away, but she had showed me her most recent addition, which was an uncut axonite, and I was captured by it. I knew the moment I held that stone and looked into it that something inside of me had woken up. So I began to really get back into rocks and minerals, a passion I had as a kid. Shawn, when you first showed the axonite back in December, I started to feel an urge to try my hand on some minor lapidary work. Seeing the progress along the way kept feeding that urge too. So this piece has two meanings to me. Thank you, Shawn, for inspiring me, and I'm sure so many others. From your weekly show on YouTube to your How It's Done series, you are inspiring many people. Thank you. Geez, that's going to make me cry if nothing else does. My husband and I always talk to each other about large purchases. So when I told him about the axonite and when he watched it, he suddenly started to laugh and blurted out, how could I not buy it? It literally has my name on it. Not even keychains or at tourist shops have that. That truly was the perfect touch. Thank you. I am truly humbled and honored. Brad, I hope you are able to get the next axonite, and I hope you aren't disappointed you didn't get this one. I am sure the next one will be just as amazing. And it will be. The next axonite, I think, because of the way I'm cutting it, cleverly, in a kind of diamond kite shape form with the multiple different angles. You're going to get those colors that we're looking for. My answers this week questions are orange, manganese, magnesium, and iron being the ferron variety of axonite. The wedge-shaped crystalline structure that resembles an X, how it got its name, axonite. Thank you again, everyone, for another amazing show. Have a great week and stay safe, Miss Elisa. You enjoyed that stone, Miss Elisa, and if you probably should be able to take a screenshot, you clever young folk, for how I put your name on the dot for that. So I don't think I probably need to send you a picture, but if I did let me know. Miss Barbara says, hi, Professor, Raven, GSN crew, and the whole Rock family. Hey, you're doing well. Many shows in a row, even without Raven. Yeah, I know. We spoke too soon, didn't we? Thanks for the extra effort. More nice stuff, too. I am so happy with my ruby and zoisite from last week. Congrats on fashioning that axonite to yield such an array of colors. Amazing. And thanks for the story about melting away the calcite to expose wolfenite. Clever use of science that makes for a cool specimen. True, that about hydrofluoric acid being like alien blood. Years ago, a garbage man in New York City picked up a discarded canister that sloshed all over him, and he died. Caused all sorts of regulations about what can and can't be put out for trash. I'll bet it did. Some stuff is more than just dangerous. It's evil. That it is. As to the trivia, orange seems to be the leader in calcite UV color from your recent offerings, but I have to give a shout out to Manganoan pink and Franklin, New Jersey, bright red pink. Yes, but we're looking for the most common color, but you are right. The Manganoan varieties from those localities do fluoresce those colors. The three elements that differentiate the members of the axonite group are magnesium, iron, and manganese. Axena is the Greek meaning ax, which refers to the ax-like shaped axonite's crystal. Hope Raven is doing well. Everyone, please take it easy in the extreme heat, which has now spread up to the Northeast this past week. Great excuse to stay inside and play with your rocks, and that's exactly the advice I would give. Mr. Anthony says, I am so sorry to hear that. Oh, great. Let's see if I can get through this. So sorry to hear this, Shawn. There's an old saying, I think it was Abraham Lincoln. I'm sure you have heard it. It's not the years in that life that count, but the life in those years. From what you have shared with us about your dad, he did some living, and that he most certainly did. As a member of a family you started, I grieve with you, my friend. Well said, Mr. Anthony. Thank you. Hello, Shawn. I just read your message, and John and I wanted to send you and your family our heartfelt condolences. This is from Miss Gabby. I know how close you are to your dad and can only imagine how much you will miss him. My heart is aching for you. I know from all your stories he was a wonderful, intelligent, great man and father. As much as we miss the shows, please take all the time you need to begin to move through this time. Love, Miss Gabby. Thank you. Miss Cindy says, for Shawn, I just read your post on YouTube regarding the death of your father. I just had to let you know I am thinking of you. May you find the peace in the memories. Take comfort in knowing how many people care and are here for you. Cindy in South Central Pennsylvania. Miss Elisa says, Dear Shawn and Raven, I'm so sorry to hear about the passing of Shawn's dad. During hard times, I often think of this quote, which has helped to bring comfort. How lucky am I to have something that makes saying goodbye so hard. Christopher Robin. Sincere condolences to everyone. Okay, let's go to something that will distract me. How about the winner of this week's trivia? And this winner, the gift is something neat, cool, unusual, and not something you're going to find in your everyday rock shop. And that winner is Brad. You have won. And let's show Brad in Pennsylvania what he has won. Check it out. Look at that. Look at that. Moroccan discrocite. Moroccan discrocite, and it's here spelled the right way if you missed it. But look at those crystals. Look at those crystals. Discrocite, you can see in the formula there, it is a silver antimonite. So the SB is for antimony, and the AG, of course, is silver. So they often will form crystals with other silver minerals, and I just thought I would put it in this neat little suspension box so you can look at them without having to dent them or bend them or anything else. Congratulations to you. Let's put that away, but before we do that, I just did want to show one last thing regarding to my dad, and it was pretty much the best way I could sum up the wonderful life that that man gave me, because without him, I wouldn't be here, and without me, my son wouldn't be here. So here is a picture of my dad in his military uniform, and he is at this age about 24. He is stationed in Alaska. You can probably see a lot of the snow around there. So, oh, yep, sorry about that. There we go. And so, yeah, because we're going to bring up the other picture of the two other generations. Let me bring up the other picture. So this is the three generations that would make everything come together. So you have my dad on the left, and then you have the one with the little belly on the right. That would be me. Then the lean, mean, trim major in the Army is my son on the far right. So 3 generations, and I could not honor my father better than to show off what his legacy is and continues. I love that man. I'll be back in a minute. All right. I won't even go into what we just went through to get this shot perfect for all of y'all, but it was on Asif. He wanted it perfect for a whole whopping price of $18. Look at these. Okay, so, so there's a little dust on the turntable. For $18, this is, you get what you pay for. And there you go. There you go. What a deal. How can you go wrong? Look how long it would take to cut any one of those stones. And they're really some unique, unusual colors. Wow, look at that. That's a Podparacha, true Podparacha in a tourmaline. So, but if you ever wondered what a Podparacha is, supposed to have pink and orange, how many have you seen that had only what appears to be one or the other? Yet, certified Podparacha. I don't know. Go figure. Okay, so there you go. Now, what I'm getting ready to show you is a series of some stunning opportunities, but that's going to come right after 106-2022. 106-2022. And this is a parcel which either I never showed it, which I doubt that, or maybe you guys, everybody blinked at the same time and just missed out on it. Okay, so let's see how I can do this cleverly without drawing the ire of Boss Man. Here we go. There we go. Now, that looks pretty. There is a whole bunch of bright colors that you see, and I think there is 8 different varieties of stones, and I'm not going to go through them. All of you guys know what most of them are or should. Actually, I will look, because look at this. Look at this. Look at some of these. These are some stunning colors and qualities. Look at that. That appears to be a valuable tourmaline. What in the world do we have here? That is a tourmaline. Oh my goodness. Wow. You have some garnets. You have a beautiful citrine. Look at that. That looks like a, a Podparacha, actually, in some of the color zones that you see. You see the orange color tone to it, but it appears to me maybe a spinel. This is a really nice parcel of some gems. I thought it was just mostly going to be quartz, but no, we have some real goodies in here. That one Might have a little boo-boo on it. Nevertheless, what a look at that heart-shaped garnet. For those of you also doing your magnet research, you have to have garnets to check them out. Look at that. Look at that real pale color stone. Quite possibly a kunzite. But that's what you guys are going to learn to look at things and be able to tell from different inclusions, start comparing it to other known stones that you have, and that's how it's done through memory recognition of inclusions in particular stones, and you look at them long enough, and that's how you can teach and learn it on your own. Yeah, I had actually never put a price on this, so I'm not sure if this was ever even offered for sale, but I tell you what, you do. Okay, that's an excellent value. $28. $28. And again, in that one tourmaline, the value is certainly there. So let me make note of that. Okay, I'm bringing out the good stuff. Check this out. Now, remember the parcel I had featured before some time ago, and some of you had commented that you had hoped that I would bring out some more stones from that parcel. Well, this is another one. We're actually going to feature a few of them. Now, these are what we would always call native cuts. And what they would do is they would find the stone, and they would not worry about how it finished out on the back. In other words, see what's called a natural, that reflective point right there. You can see where they've ground away some of the other part of the crystal. But if they went and ground all that out, you wouldn't have much left. So they would leave the natural parts of the crystal in the stone when it wasn't going to be noticeable from above. And that's what we have here. So look at that. And this, of course, is from one of the premier locations you want a star or any kind of sapphire to be from, and that would be, of course, Sri Lanka or Ceylon. And look at that. What a very, very sharp star. Look at that. And that'll pick up, of course, multiple other stars from other reflections or light that you see as well. And the sunlight is always the best to bring out the stars really sharp. How about this? That gem, only $29. $29, a true pink, just a real nice classic pink. And these were from, I even know the decade that they were mined and cut, and it was back when they were finding much better material, and this was in the 70s and 80s. So I kind of put just the 80s on this one. I think the material actually was mined prior to the 80s and maybe cut in the early 80s as best information I could get on that. Okay, let's take a look at another star, 107, 27, 22. Now remember, sapphire in any of its forms doesn't have to be just be blue, the birthstone for September. And chemical composition, Al2O3, aluminum oxide, and then it's the presence of other impurities that will give it all the colors. Now, sapphire can be in any color except red. When the aluminum oxide is red, then it is called ruby. And ruby gets its color from chromium, from the impurities of chromium. Okay, so let's show you this one. Look at that. Look at that. Now, again, look at how well detailed the eye is. That is about as sharp as, you know what? It actually looks like the old Lindy stars that they came out with in the 50s and 60s. And Lindy went out of business some time ago. There will be an L engraved on the back of, if you have like a blue star sapphire or a pink star sapphire, the pinks are very close to this color. The eyes are really sharp, but there'll be an L engraved on the back of it, polished surface, and that'll stand for Lindy. They're actually a little bit collectible, and by that I mean, you know, don't throw them away. But yeah, that was one of the first look-alike star sapphires. Now you can see this is, look at this, see the cutting, what I'm talking about. Look at how deep that is actually cut. So, and look at the zoning in it. Really, really some rich zoning in this piece, which you know from my sapphire ring that I'll have, that I love zoning in sapphires. I find it can add some quite unique characteristics. This stone, you could probably polish it double-sided. In other words, make a star from either side, because look at, there's nothing wrong. I don't see many inclusions on the back that couldn't be taken out or improved if you're a cutter and wanted to play around a little bit with it. But nevertheless, this is one of those really, really beautiful, beautiful colors coming from the country of gemstones, really. Ceylon, it really is. Price opportunity on this one. This is a purplish pink. It is only $39. Only $39 on this guy. And now, you know, remember, this is old stock material. You just can't find a lot of this kind of material inexpensively, let's put it that way, much anymore. Let me show you another beauty. 107 2622. 107 2622. And let's see what we have in this next gem. And wow, I like it from here already. Let's toss it up here, move this one away. Look at the color. I like the color so far. Let me sit that right there and put this up so I don't get them confused, which last week or so could be pretty easily done. All right, let's take a better look now. What have we got? What have we got? Look at the translucency. Oh, wow. Wow. Now that's a star. You know, I was looking at this one website that I go to kind of get price referencing on the lower end kind of material. So I was looking at star rubies and star sapphires. There wasn't a thing I could find that was not treated. It was all of this glass filled. It would say natural, and then it would say glass filled. Well, you know, that's kind of really misleading. To me, it's one or the other. To mix the two, no. Look at that gem. Look at that gem. Really strong 6-ray star. And all to orient it, to center it up, okay, so when I set it like this, it may be on an angle, but when you're going and putting it into a mounting, you set it straight. I mean, so it doesn't matter how it's cut. It's up to the stone setter, a good one, to be able to set it and orient it straight like you see right there, and you will have the star facing in the right direction. Now, this is a really nice stone and should command a lot more money than the whopping $41 I'm asking for it. Only $41 on that. Look at the translucency to it. If it didn't have a star, I mean, that would be one that you could have faceted and derived value even that way, even though it's a little hazy still, you can see the potential for there to be brilliance in that beauty. Now, let's see, we're not done yet. Wait till, let's see. Oh. Yes. Here is a real gift. 107 32 22. 107 32 22. Now, it's going to take Dave's magic camera to bring out a 12-ray star. Now, I have a couple of these that I'm actually going to offer, and they're in a couple of different qualities and mixes. So let's see what we wind up with here. But this is a combination of a zoned Australian 12-ray star. Now, how do you get a 12-ray star? Well, it is two 6-ray star crystals that twin, basically. In other words, they form in a cross-twin pattern and giving you two sets of stars, and often the color of the stars will be different from one to the other. Now, let's see, because we were already, I noticed, had been getting some reflections oftentimes from the mirror. There we go. I can see that there is two different colors of stars. You can actually see there's a silverish set, and then there's also a more of a golden set. There is some blue coming through there. Now, this is the least expensive of the 12-ray stars that I'm going to be showing you. This is kind of a fun one I wanted to start off with. And let me put this other one away for a moment. And so let me show you and get out the flashlight so I can show you the zoning. Now, the Australian sapphires were well known called for party colors. In other words, multiple color in sapphires. And hold on, let me get this. That's not the flashlight I like. Nope. Here we go. Okay. And you're going to see that in this, perfect, thank you, sir. You're going to see, as I put the light back behind it, there we go. That's what I want to show you. Look at the zoning. All right, so you can see a portion of the crystal, the chevron. In other words, that angle that multiplied 6 times around gives you the hexagonal crystal system. You can also see the multiple different colors in the zoning of the stone as well. And then, let me see if this, there we go, perfect. You can see the twinning of the legs. When you see the legs of the star, you can see that there is 2 sets of them. This one's only $11, okay? So let me leave that here for a moment and show you, as we move up the ladder, what the next one might look like. $11. That's a great treat because you get everything in the package for the only $11 on that, which 12-ray stars are not that common. Everything kind of has to go right for that to occur. Let me show you this next one. This is 107 31 22. 107 31 22. And now this is a bigger one. So maybe it will show off the star a wee bit better. All right, so you can see relative to the one next to it how much bigger it is. All right, so we'll take this one away. And let's see what this one has to offer. All right, yeah, this has it all going on. You can easily see all those legs. I mean, look at them. And look at the 2 different colors, plus there's zoning as well. Okay, so you actually see some legs there that are a bluish color. That's not your eyes deceiving you. That's actually a bluish silver type color. Then you also have golden legs. So you have instead of a 6-ray star, you have 12-ray star. Then add the zoning on top of that. And let me see what we have back behind here hiding for you. Look at that. Look at that. Now see, you know from my ring how much I enjoyed the zoning in that piece. So you can imagine when I get a stone that not only has really attractive and unusual zoning for colors in it, but also the 12-ray star that, yeah, I like something different. Look at the blue, look at the green, look at the yellows in here. And that's also, you can wind up with green. Look at the green star. And then you can see, this is just using the flashlight, the 12 rays, and then Dave's light as well. So you have the zoning, and then you have the legs in a twin crystal giving you those 12 rays. Price on this, only $20 a carat, $37. Only $37. Now, when I was actually looking around for pricing, I couldn't believe, those diffused star sapphires I was showing you, where they actually say natural sapphire, all this and that, and then they say diffused and treated. And they charge a lot of money for these diffused stones, which I couldn't believe. I just could not believe it. And for me, I'm just tossing them to the side. I probably have a bag of those stones, and they are getting huge amounts of money for these because they're calling them natural sapphires and these blue stars, but it's diffused. It's a surface diffusion. These are all natural. And here's the other thing. I saw, and looking up the star rubies, and every single one that this one site was offering was also fracture filled, glass filled, which of course here at Gem Shopping we sell nothing of the kind, nothing of the fake treated world of those type of items. But the amazing thing to me was how much that they were still asking for stones that had really been treated in multiple different ways, and they even had low heat treatment on star stones. In other words, they were heat treating star stones and heat treating it to a point to where it still left the star there, but cleaned up a lot of the other lower temperatures, in other words, lower than the rutile melt temperature in the piece. So they really have it down to a science, and all that just, not my cup of tea. No, give me as real as you can get. Let's look at item number 1073022. And let's take a look at this guy. And this is another kind of larger size one. And here it is. There we go. This is a neat piece. This is a neat piece. So you can see it next to the other one right there. So basically, black stars in the black star world. But look at that. Look at that. Okay.
Raise it up off the turntable.
Yep. Okay.
Higher you go, more stars.
Okay, let's take it way up here then. Let me come. Yeah. There we go. Let's get it off the reflection of the turntable. And I probably could have wiped that guy down. But look at this. What did I say about the different color in the legs? You can see how it is producing a couple of different colors. You have a bluish silver color, you have a golden color, and then you have linear zoning down the piece as well.
Almost looks like an apron.
An apron?
No, an 8-ray star.
Oh, it
That
does.
is 6, but you see the other 2 rays?
Yes, I do. Look at that. And that's what makes these so unique. And I tell you what, I didn't even know these were in the parcel until I dumped the parcel out and I started facing every one up and using a single light source. And then, wow, there we go. Yeah, there we go. Look at that. That is really different. That is really different. You can easily see the 12 different legs. Look at that. Look at that. Look at the blue in between the gold. And it did not, yeah, can't speak. If I got it to look like this at home in my crude way I was looking at it, this would have gone back to being a keeper in my collection. That is a true unique piece. So let me set it right down here. This is, look at that. That's right at an 8x6. And so that would fit a calibrated setting. You'd have certainly one of a kind piece right there. And Carat 67, let me make sure I get that right back. Yeah, wow, what a deal. Only $41. It was really tempting me to change the price and go up, but after seeing how good it looked right there, but no, you know, I don't roll like that. Only $41. I think it is by way of price per carat at only $25 a carat. Probably the nicest one I'm going to be showing. So let me tuck a couple of these away right now so I don't get confused, which is easily done at the moment, and we'll be right back. All right, I have put together a 3-stone special that I have never done before. I have not given you 3 aluminum oxide gemstones. And if that description sounds funny, well, how about black star sapphire and star ruby? Same thing, Al2O3. I'm just throwing a little chemistry at you. All right, that top stone is, a lot of people would actually say Madagascan, but here is the thing. The truth is, they're Indian. They're Indian. They're from India, but the key to it, for one, look at how well displayed those 6 rays are. In a ruby, it's much, for whatever reason, more difficult to get a fine, well-defined star than it is in sapphires. Now, the stone in the bottom right-hand corner, if you see 12 legs there, it is not your eyes going cross-eyed. There is, again, you can see the twinning where you get the bluish silver legs along with the golden legs. 12 rays. Perfect. Perfect. You can actually see the blue silver ones are longer than the golden ones. And with this method of being able to show you all 3 at the same time, it allows you to see the difference instead of me trying to trip over tweezers over my big bulky hands and then flipping the stone across the room. This is a much better method. Now, compare the stone on the left. Solidly beautiful, strong 6-ray star there. That's your classic black star sapphire, except a very clean one. Strong legs created from the natural mineral rutile. Now, if you look at the one to the right, you can see the difference. And you can see, look at the blue silver legs in between the golden ones. Now, the funny thing is, both of those stones are the exact measurement. So how would you like to put those side by side in a custom-made ring where you have a 6-ray star with a 12-ray star? If I had time, that was a project I wanted to do. And I actually wanted to add the star ruby in the middle of the 3. But time is not going to allow that, so what am I going to do? I am going to offer this opportunity to one of you, not only just for your collection, if you wish, but to create something. Now, the other neat thing about this, guess what? The Australian stone is the 12-ray star. Then you have the black star sapphire from Thailand. I have been there. I have spent weeks in Kanchanaburi, where they have the Bopoi mine, the big sapphire and black spinel mine right outside of the town where the bridge over the River Kwai movie was situated. And I loved that entire area. And then you have, look at the star on the ruby above. Look at how well defined that is. What a great way to compare all three stones. You get the suspension box with it. Look at add up the total weight there, and you know what? I gave a big discount if you get all three stones. Because how would you like to get the entire 3-stone parcel for $67? That's $7 a carat. Only $67. Look at that. And you will not be disappointed. That 12 ray star stone is one of the best that I have ever had. And yes, they're worth more money than what I'm asking. Of course. Here's the other funny thing. I say funny in a funny way, because the Black Star Sapphire, when I went to look it up at my inexpensive site that I use for price comparison, they wanted $10 to $12 a carat, okay? But it was fracture filled, completely treated. It was a natural sapphire, but when they're fracture filled, they can add color to it, they can add all kinds of other things and to improve the look, and you would never know it. Now, luckily the site discloses this, but when stones are out in the open market or on the wild, wild west of the internet sites, where you take your, cross your fingers, legs, toes, everything else, and good luck on getting what is being offered to you as being truthful. This opportunity, $67 for all three stones. Now, just you wait and see. I have a treat coming up next for you, and this is a great segue from what we were discussing a couple weeks ago. 107-2222. 107-2222. Look at this incredible specimen of Calcopyrite. Look at that. Look at that. Look at how large this is. And we were just discussing the other week the differences, how you tell the difference between Calcopyrite and Pyrite, right? Well, we know that Pyrite, you're going to be looking for little cubes. And when we're talking about Calcopyrite, we're talking about a different crystal system, tetragonal. Think of tetra, thinking of 3. What you're going to find in this, a piece like this, is things that are triangular looking. Look at the triangular looking, not everything, look at that, has to be a perfect triangle, but overall, you get these triangular formations. Now, here is the other cool thing about this piece. This is natural color. Natural color. Look at those colors down in there. Some of this, a lot of this material, I'm afraid to say exactly how much is out there, but they acid treat it, and then often adding a little heat to enhance the colors, making them some of those crazy colors that you see. There is technically supposed to be natural. Look at that. Now, I can promise you that blue in there is a natural color blue situated right down in there. Yeah, they don't take the time to treat specimens like that. Look at these incredible natural colors. Now, dolomite. This is all set against a backdrop of dolomite crystals. Look at these. Wonderful, wonderful rhombohedrons of dolomite. Beautiful. Look at the blend of the colors. And this is what we refer to as a cabinet quality and cabinet size specimen. Now, as we come down here and look into one of these pockets, look at this. Look back into this pocket. Look at how beautiful that is. And look at the crystalline form of the Calcopyrites. Now, I'm backlighting it from a little bit from behind so you can look deeper into the pockets. Look deeper into the pockets. Oh, wow, that makes it look like a Scooby-Doo mystery ride right into the tunnel of crystals. Wow. That reminds me of Rock City. Has anybody been to Rock City and gone back into where they have the little gnomes and they're working in the little, it's kind of a fairy tale made up thing, but it looks so real-like. And what a display of Mother Nature, And to be able to see back into pockets that were formed, eons of time ago. Now, as we drift across this front of the specimen, let's show you what lies on the other side. Look at that. Look at those colors. Now, we're coming around the back of it. Boom! Look at this. You have an amazing, amazing pocket of additional crystallization, and it allows you to add lighting. Look at that. Look at that. This specimen can offer you so many different display angles. You have multiple opportunities to look at the dolomite. I mean, when you look at it like that, it made me feel like I was in a much larger area. Look at that. And then as we come around this piece and we bring the shot out, you can see the actual size and how large and impressive this piece is. I'm only going to put my hand in the shot because I agree with Asif. It looks much better when my hand's not in the shot. But for size reference, some of you have asked for it. Here we go. See what I mean? That's all it takes. That's all you need to know, just how big of a piece this is. Now, one other thing I want to show you that's going to require my hand is this has been made with two display surfaces. You have the flat one right there, and then one other. You can turn it like that. Wow. Wow. Yeah, exactly. Yes. That piece is a beauty. And it is something that for the amount of money I'm asking for it, the look you get, a lot of bang for the buck. These are natural color crystals. Price on this is only, and this would be one I am going to miss, but it is only $88. I kid you not, $88. And that is a very showy piece. Now, I'll be right back with something you're going to like. I have one of, one of a kind. Calcite. There's so much we could talk about when we talk about calcite, not only from amazing fluorescence, but in this specimen alone, you're seeing another form of calcite that you may not have seen before. Because you know why? I was doing some more research, something I love to do, and there are, in calcite's morphology of its crystallography, in other words, going back to when I talk about how many different habits something has, in other words, different forms under still its crystal system, there are 800 different forms of calcite crystals that can be, have been documented. Let's take a little spin on this one as we look, and you're going to get to see something that you probably haven't. This, Reynolds County, this is Sweetwater mine material, and it is on chert. Chert. If that sounds familiar, it is because it is one of the primary Native American stones that was used for flint knapping. As a matter of fact, it actually belongs to the Flint family. Now, this piece, there is some large crystals, and I just noticed right over here, look at that, some beautiful iridescence. And you have where another crystal was. And look at the size of these. Look at the size. This is, it's actually one of Raven's favorite pieces, and we had displayed it for a while, and all it took, you know, when you get dust down in there, you think, oh, I'll never be able to clean that. No. It really was just simple water, and it just rinsed everything off and really, really brightened this piece up. Now, like what you're seeing off of some of this, like that's just reflections coming off of that there that you can see. It's often, because calcite's so soft, difficult to get specimens that do not have some kind of little nicks or abrasions on the crystals. But overall, for the size that these are, this is quite a handsome specimen with very few, relative to how many there could be, dings. Now, let's just go to the base of these calcites and give you a little glimpse of the chert. As I move this specimen back, you're going to get to see the bottom of it. Now, here's the chert, and underneath, here is what the calcite are forming on. And that is very stable, because chert is a cryptocrystalline quartz related to the Flint family. So very hard, very durable. You can see from my hand just how beautifully large cabinet quality specimen this is. And the price on this, add to your collection, it is a marvelous large piece. Large specimens always do look good in a display cabinet. Opportunity on it, only $128. Only $128 on that beauty. Now, let me slide something in here as it moves behind that crystal set. This is item 1067322. What a great contrast. Look at how good that would look even behind the yellow calcite, as I showed. Great contrasting color. Look at this beauty. Brazilian iris quartz. And this is in the dragon, the form of a dragon that I like. It's not the medieval dragon with the, look at the irises on that. It is difficult not to want to just get my fat finger out and point, but look at this. This is, look at the irises down here. This specimen is a stunner for irises. Look at that dragon looking right into your eyes. Right into your eyes. And then look at how clear and white that quartz is. And as we look here, if I remember right down here, this is the shot. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. That is what you want to see in your iris quartz. That looks like an opal. You know, there is opal that really doesn't look as good as that iris quartz. Wow. Wow. I am offering this. I am going to sale price this item, believe it or not. And you know what? This is a true one of a kind for no other reason but the strength of the irises on that. There's more, but I'm going to leave them for you to discover because I am going to discount this right now. Asif, more people want to hear from you. So, what was the last price we had on this?
138.
Wow, okay. Last price we had, can't fib there. Microphones pick up everything, $138. I am going to sale price this to only $118. $118. An incredible, incredible carving. I can't imagine the amount of time that would even take to create something so marvelous. Now, I'm going to show you something that I was real surprised that you guys didn't grab it. So let me set up for it, and I'll be right back. All right, now, clock is running out. We've been doing some investigative practices here on how to show you an item to better represent what we're trying to convey. And this piece, it should have sold straight away because it is made up with one of my favorite items, and that is my little neat portable lights, my flashlights, my gizmos. Now, look at this. This is hollow Reynolds County, Missouri, Druzy quartz. And yes, if you think there's a light at the base of there is a light. And this, what makes it so cool is because you can use this as a night light. You can use this for so many different things. And you can change out the color of the light. Now, let me show you. You won't see it because it's in the black. Boom. See that? And I'm going to show you what's doing that in just a second. So I'm turning it on and off just like that. And you can have a one-of-a-kind piece. Now, we'll bring the lights back up and show you exactly what was doing that. Look at that. Okay, so here it is. It is hollow on the inside, and this is one of Shawn's. Look at this. So you just pull on this. Look at that. Huh? Isn't that not neat? Look at that hollow. Look at that chalcedony edge. This is a one-of-a-kind indeed piece that, you know, it's going to be one of those, where are you going to find another one? Where are you going to find another one? And it can sit in a couple different directions, as you can see, because the light bulb is totally hidden. All right, price on this, you know what? You didn't get it the first time, I can't believe it, but that's maybe someone was gambling wanting a sale price. Here we go. I'm going to give you that sale price. We're going to make this one only $108. $108 on that beauty. Now, with the only moments we have left with you, there was another item I wanted to get right in here, and we're just going to leave that specimen right where it is. Let's look at item 104 4922, because there's nothing better than a rock or mineral in the backdrop behind another rock and mineral. So says I. Look at this very cool collection of spinels. And we're going to put them right over here and show you that instead of taking them out of the case, I'm going to leave them in there, and we're going to let the little machine do some of its spinning back and forth and give you that look. Look at that. There we go. It's doing everything I need it to do without getting my other utensils in the way, like tweezers, once I figure out exactly the best place. But look at the colors. Look at the colors. You have the purple, you have the cinnamon reds, and you have the reddish orange color there. And for all three of these, all three, and here is the remarkable opportunity for you. This is what is kind of crazy, why no one has taken advantage of this. Well, I bet you do now. How about this? Sale price, all three. And that purple one is worth twice the price of the one, making it $48. $48. And yeah, that's kind of like, well, a gift, a free gift from me to you. Now, let me look at the time. Out of time. I had Poudre Canyon quartz. I have parcels. I have other items you have never seen before. But, of course, I had a little bit of a difficult week this past week getting my act together. So please be understanding. Let me tuck away these items while I come up with a couple of trivia questions for you. I'll be right back. Okay, well, it's the end of the show, and I never get as much done as I normally would like to, but we're just always trying to improve the show for all of you. We're not going to do trivia today. Instead, I just want to take a moment to talk about the past couple of weeks in my life and what it really has meant to me and what all of you have meant to me. When you suffer the kind of loss of such a wonderful, wonderful person that I have in the last couple weeks, and then for those of you that remember, just over a year ago, I lost my baby sister. And there are so many important things in life that all of us categorize and prioritize their importance. And sometimes that prioritizing needs to be shaken up a little bit, and you need to look at the world through a little bit different of, well, as Raven would say, she goes, tilt your head, Shawn. In other words, look at things a little bit differently. And, we have a wonderful time sharing Mother Nature's most precious and most treasured of items that she can offer. Mother Nature offers storms and offers, destruction and these other powerful symbols of who's the boss and who's in control. But Mother Nature also brings to us something from the ground that through the proper hands and through other people with their proper passions for those items that have come up from the earth, in the transformation of it, they've made them to where all of you appreciate Mother Nature through a different lens, looking at it other than something of a financial item or something from just a standpoint of its aesthetic beauty. Mother Nature has offered us something else beyond all that for beauty, and that is something called love. I thought I could get through this, but with those losses that I've had, there is nothing greater than the gift of love. Love for one's family, one's wife, son, parents, daughter. Love for one's pets. It's still love. And it transcends so many other less important things that we have put too much importance on. And for all of you to have supported not only this show, but me personally in a way, and the way you have touched Asif and Dave and, you know, our core little group here, which is the closest thing to the core of Mother Nature that we offer. In other words, we're from the ground up. We offer items that before man turned them into faceted gemstones. And if it wasn't the love and the passion and the desire to want to do that, you wouldn't end up with the finished product that all of us here have such a passion for. The loss of my father is a loss to my heart greater than any value I could place on any gem or mineral. But it is the gems, minerals, diamonds, sapphires, rubies, emeralds. That is a item that carries a very important place in representing that love of someone else. There is, I can still tell you, as much as, you know, Raven loves jewelry as much as she has, what would she like? Another piece of jewelry. You know, that to her, if I give her that, of course, it, you know, I have to, you know, maybe do the dishes once in a while, but that's still representative to her of my love for her. The nature's gems and minerals and what she has given to this planet, coupled with your heart's desire to want to give something that represents your love, you take that from Mother Nature. You take that from the earth, and you express the greatest love you have for someone, often with that bauble. I know one of the neatest things I gave my dad was a petrified wood slice he could put inside his aquarium. He thought that was one of the neatest combinations. And it was an agatized coral that went perfectly in his aquarium. No, I couldn't give my dad an engagement ring or a diamond pendant, but I could still reach in with Mother Nature and use Mother Nature's gifts to this earth to give to him something. He was a scientific Russian translator. Science, he was all about science. And that's what I gave him for many, many years, was a fulgurite, these different organic gifts that were still representative of my love. And, you know, to all of you.
When you carry something they gave you.
Yeah.
When you carry a ring on your hand and they're gone.
you know, and as people commented, they wanted to hear more from Asif, and I hope you heard that because, you know, they carry an item that you have given to them. So not only do you get and feel the love that of the act of giving, but the person that is receiving now has an item that they will always treasure and remember and associate with that love that you have given to them. And why do you think now, and it's funny that I have been sharing my collection with all of you now, it is even more pertinent to me and important to me that all of you have some of me, which was a lifelong collection of mineral specimens, that knowing that you're possessing these beautiful items as I think it was Peggy that commented how she goes into her little rock room and that's where she finds her peace, you know, and she finds her peace. They were items that she had gotten from this show. And I can't tell you how much joy that brings Asif, that brings Dave, that brings those associated with this show because they know how passionate and how much love we have for all of you. And, you know, yes, I guess there has to be a monetary value to keep us here and going. But in the real end of it all, I can say this from Asif's heart and all of our hearts, that we love all of you in a way far beyond what you really probably had no idea. And it is your gift to us, especially this show, by being interested in sharing our passion as a whole and as a group. And it works both ways.
Ask them to share the gems in their life as they truly.
Absolutely, it is a joy to share these things and these things that started with Mother Nature, and am able now to share them with all of you. And my dad supported my hobby from the very beginning. And he would, in Sarasota, Florida, sit in the car and proofread his translation work while I was taking gem cutting lessons every Saturday. He gave up his Saturdays. He sacrificed his time. But he also saw something in me that was not like any little regular little boy, that just rocks were going to be something that was going to be a fad and come and go. I think he saw something special in me that was on a level far beyond that. And that was at an age of 11. I was born on his birthday. We shared all of our birthdays together. The parochial school knew that I would be missing that day of school every year. And my dad and I went fishing.
If you have a gem in your life, and please ask them to share the gems in their life, the trivia.
And so, with having my father sharing his life with me, and me realizing that sharing is so important. So many of you have wondered why I do the trivia and the gifts and the sharing. And it is for that, one of those reasons that I do it, is because I get something, a huge return. And what I want from all of you this week for your, we're going to randomly draw it, but for your
trivia answer.
There you go. For your trivia answer is share with me somebody that has been really important and that has been that gem in your life and that jewel in your life. And there's no wrong answers. We're going to have a random drawing. because I know everybody will have, hopefully, you'll mention someone special at whatever point, and it could be someone maybe not even family related, something maybe when you were 11 years old that touched your life. Just mention it, because I want to know. I want to know who touched your life, because I know my father, I was his birthday boy, and he was my birthday father, my birthday pops. And I'm sharing with you that wonderful gem in my life, and share back with us, because we care and we love all of you, and it matters. God bless all of you, and thank you for your wonderful support. And I can't believe I just got through this. God bless. Take care.